Hello. Very short video this Friday evening. Very short. I'm winding down from a long day and have a pretty drained brain, but it's important for me to put this out every Friday, at least for the time being. And I don't feel like a full or draining day is an excuse to not do it. So I'd rather put out something sincere, but a lot less structured than I would normally and shorter. So it's not half-hearted, it's just not as in-depth as I would want it, which I'm okay with from time to time and today. So I have a long day of training and needing to just get miscellaneous stuff done, having people over, all very good stuff, just full, and I'm tired. And I think that is okay. I believe I talked last week about trusting the process, and I think this is just an extension of that. A lot of things that I find valuable in life, and from a business and life development skill perspective, I think figuring out what it is you are doing and what that goal is and what you're trying to do is really important, and then doing whatever you can to stick with it. And it's okay to set short-term goals, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then reassess. But I think once you set those goals, just being really careful for when you back off them. I've been thinking about this recently, and I don't know if I have a strong stance on it yet, but I like it so far. I was listening to a psychologist. It was a Jordan Peterson recording, or an excerpt, where he talked about facing the challenge of when do we quit something. Because sometimes we'll be working on a project or doing something and hit a point where we're like, man, this isn't worth it anymore. And there's a question that we'll face, like, is this the point of quitting? And how do I know when to quit versus is it just weakness? And he had an interesting solution that he would use for his clinical patients, and I've been reflecting on it more recently, and again, don't have a strong stance on it, but it's very interesting, and I want to keep reflecting on it. He said that the hard thing that you're doing, you can quit only as long as you replace that with something of equal or greater difficulty. And the reason for that was, if you swap it for something just as hard or harder, that will prove to yourself that you are not quitting out of weakness, but you are quitting because the task isn't beneficial or useful anymore. And I like that, like when I just want to stop doing something, or like I want to go to bed like an hour ago, and I still have about another 30-40 minutes before I'm going to be able to make it there. And I'm like, I could just not do the things that I need to get done tonight. But that does feel like it feels easier. Like it doesn't feel like I'd be trading with something harder. Like there's nothing sacrificial about that. And I do think there might be some shortfalls with that statement of easy isn't inherently bad, but I do get where he's coming from with it. So it's an interesting thought, and it has been helpful for me to reflect on a little bit, and in moments like this, like, okay, what am I actually trading this for? Is this weakness showing, or is it a very viable excuse? And a good reason is not necessarily a good excuse. We can have good reason to not do things, but that doesn't mean it's a good excuse. So anyway, just some things to think about, whatever business adventures you're doing, life adventures that you're doing, to just consider. And hopefully this adds some encouragement, and I plan to be here for these still every Friday. So that's the plan for now. Thanks for joining.